Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Hello, everyone. It is Monday. You know what that means? No, it's not Magical Monday, though Mondays can be very magical. It's Motivational Monday. And today's show is recorded as they usually are on Mondays. And I'm very delighted to tell you that my son is here and we are having the best time ever. Tonight, we are making Thanksgiving dinner. So it's going to be a blast. My daughter's on her way over. And you know, being with your family, there's just nothing like it. So anyway, that's what's happening in my neck of the woods. And unfortunately, my stepdaughter, who I call my bonus daughter, Leah, and her husband, Danon, have both contracted COVID, so they're not coming. So I'm really bummed about that. However, they will be here in June. So what do you know? We're going to have a good time anyway. All right, so let's get down to it because Monday, we're going to tee up the week for some good stuff. We're going to talk about influence today. So this is some good stuff because I think a lot of us think that, we're not under anyone's influence. And I beg to differ. So let's talk about that, okay? But before we do, I want you to notice that I'm holding up selenium. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this tomorrow, but do yourself a favor and look up selenium plus breast cancer and studies, breast cancer studies. Women who get breast cancer typically have very low selenium. So I take 200 micrograms a day, 35. Though this is 35 micrograms. I take more than that. I take 70. I take 2 of these a day. And, you know, it's a wise thing to do. We happen to have selenium on special this week. That is our supplement of the week. It is a screaming deal. You can get 4 bottles for the price of 3. All you have to do is go to savingdinner.com/show. It's a fairly inexpensive supplement, but it does the job. There's a lot. It's also connected to thyroid function. There's a lot of things about this particular mineral that's super important. Okay. Selenium. savingdinner.com/show. All right. Got that. This week's quote of the week is never discourage anyone who continually makes progress, no matter how slow. You know why I brought this one out? This is a Plato, one of the great minds of our time, of not our time, ancient times. I bring this one up because nobody wants to go slow, but sometimes that's what it takes is going slow. And sometimes that's your pace, and that's fine. We don't have to keep pace with everyone else. We don't have to do it everybody else's way. We need to have a custom fit every time, and that includes speed. The only failure, I just got done writing this, the only failure you can ever really face in your life is quitting on yourself. The rest of the time, it's experimentation. It's learning what doesn't work for you and then going to the next thing. We all have Edison moments. Every single one of us haven't discovered that just right fit yet. And it's not about being perfect. It's about being excellent. And it's about knowing things and doing things that fit you to a T. Remember that. It's really important. So today we're going to be talking about being under the influence, right? Because I'll tell you something, influence changes your body's chemistry, no matter how you're being influenced. It changes your thoughts. It also changes sometimes necessarily the people you're hanging out with. I'll explain why. And what it means is influence is the power of something or someone to affect or to be controlled by them. Isn't that interesting? Influence does that. And so Influencers, like we always hear about in social media, well, they might be around in social media, but they've been around since ancient Roman and the gladiators. That's how it is, because gladiators used to endorse products. Can you believe that? They had their own way of doing that. And I don't know how exactly they did that without social media, but they did it. Wedgwood china was introduced in the 1700s, and they made the first tea set for George III. And then what they did was they peddled their Wedgwood with royal approval, a seal of royal approval. And that influenced people, of means, obviously, to buy this Wedgwood china. Well, if it's good enough for the king, right? Influence. Coco Chanel. You know her. She's also very anti-Semitic, which I did not know, but terrible. But and nonetheless, she was known for her innovation of women's suits and introduced tweed to women. Women didn't wear tweed suits until Coco Chanel came by. And she was also known for her little black dress and, of course, the very famous, the very classic Chanel No. 5 perfume, which had about 80 different ingredients in it. Used to be, once upon a time, it was like rose water, and that was it, until Coco Chanel came along. And she just completely influenced the perfume market, and it became a market, and it became an industry. So she influenced fashion, scent, and even how women saw themselves. So she did have that definitely that influence in there. And we're all shaped by influence, whether it's good, whether it's bad, or whether it's just horrible and ugly. Society, friends, close friends, loved ones, race, culture, location, opportunities, media, interests, appearance, self-expression, and life experiences. Guess what? Those are all the things that influence us every single day. All of it. We don't think about it, but it's true. It does. But I believe with all of my heart that the beginning of any journey, especially a better life, an up-leveled experience, a curated and vibrant life, is that you get to choose your influence. You don't just merely allow for any influence in. You are the gatekeeper of your own life, right? The gatekeeper of your own life. So when we understand as well that everything is an influence, not just in the social media world, the influencers that you roll your eyes at, doing stupid things and posing in bikinis on cliffs and falling and all this. I don't know if you've read some of that stuff, but wow, the things that people will do for a picture, right? But no one is immune to this. No one is immune to influence. And that's why we're concerned, when our kids were little, who they were hanging out with. Are they going to be a good influence, or are they going to be a bad influence? It was a question, and it was a constant scrutiny. As a parent, we were always, taking a peek at. And yet, do we worry about that with ourselves? Is this person a good influence on my life? Do we ever think those kind of things? So I also want to just mention that one of the things that is a big influencer in your life, especially if you're a hand-wringing worrier, is worry. From financial woes, kids, health, jobs, it all takes a huge toll on your health, on your body's chemistry, even your ability to lose weight if you're trying to do that. And yet we tend to blame everything and anything, all these influences, on why our lives and our goals are stuck. It's true. But the main influence really is our social environment. Truly. So we take on our friends' thoughts. Our friend says something with their, oh, that's interesting. And suddenly, that becomes our thought. And their belief systems are our belief systems. Often, if you're going to church, your church-growing people that you're friends with have the same exact belief systems as you do. And for the most part, we take these on unknowingly. And we just allow for it. Yeah, seems right. It's good. So what if I told you, though, that the people you love most in this whole world have the greatest influence on everything in your whole life? Would you believe that? And what if I told you that the chances are pretty strong that they're also your biggest saboteurs in your life? Would I be right? So, here's a good example. You're trying to eat healthy. What does your spouse do? Coming home from the grocery store, unpacking, there's your lettuce, there's the this, there's the that, and there's a great big bag of cookies. You know, you know what I'm talking about, right? There it is. It's your favorite thing. And why did they bring that home? Mark does that sometimes too. He brings stuff home I just don't want him to do. But, I don't want it there because I'll eat it. And like when you're trying to fast too, I never promote like huge long fasts. I promote intermittent fasting so that your body has a chance to have a break from digestion and get to the work of repair, mostly when you're sleeping. And it's just good for you. It's good for your body. It's good for your health. It's good for your, you don't need to be eating constantly like a baby cow grazing. That's a whole different thing. But what does your best friend say? Oh, that you're starving yourself and you're going to lose muscle by doing this, completely uneducated. Yep, this is what they're saying. And I can't tell you how many people have given up intermittent fasting because of what somebody heard. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. But, when I was trying to start a business, my pastor was an influence on me, and he tried to influence me to get a job at H&R Block instead of continuing on with Menu Mailer at the time. It was Menu Mailer. It wasn't even Saving Dinner yet. So if you're trying to feel good about yourself and your friend says they'd rather be dead, this is said to my face, by the way, than slowly die a long, fat death because of obesity. How do you think that made me feel, right? Yeah, they say that to your face. How do you think that's going to make you feel? This is what happens when people have an influence in your life. Jim Rohn says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You think about that. And if you are surrounded with people who are not on the same page as you, who don't believe in what it is that you're doing, or you have to kind of shut it down and not say anything, you might want to reevaluate who you're hanging out with, right? You might want to be around other active people or whatever. It's interesting, since I started playing pickleball and I play with a lot of pickleball people and I hang out with a lot of them, we are always doing something active. Always. We don't do the unactive things. We do the very active things. We went fishing the other day. We went, we take walks. Peter and I just got back from a big walk around the lake with the dog. So you do things differently with people depending on what their influence is in their life. So if we want some aspect of our lives to change, then it's crucial to check where the influence is coming from. And then we have to curate that, right? So here's one, your spouse. I'm not telling you to leave your spouse or anything like that. But what we need to do is we need to educate and enlighten our spouse in a way that isn't lecturing, isn't finger pointing, but is more informative. This is what I need from you. This is important to me. Can I count on you to support me in this? Can you do this? Is it possible for? How can we get a solution to this situation? Like about the cookies or whatever. If you could just keep the cookies someplace that I don't know where they are, I'd appreciate that. Because in a moment of weakness, I might be going for that. Or I might make a decision to not watch TV with you when you're sitting there doing this with the cookies. Because it's just a temptation for me. We have to say what it is that we want. We can't expect them to read our minds and to perform for you when they never have before in the past. After 30 years, do you think it's really going to change? Of course not. That's why the conversation needs to change of what it is that you need. Number 2, your friends. Are they part of the rising tide? Remember, the rising tide lifts all boats. Are they part of that, or are they bringers of pain and conflict for you? Think about that too. Because when we find ourselves in the place of just going in this negative loop and never getting past and to the place that we want to go, there's something holding you back. And it could be some of your closest people that are around you. The other thing, number 3, and this is one of the biggies, is your environment. You got to curate the heck out of it. You got to go through your pantry and make sure that that pantry is supportive. You've got to go through your world and make sure that you've got quotes and things that are supporting the life that you want to lead, especially when you're trying to change things. You know, doing the same thing is going to get you the same result. So in order to up level and to create and curate the life that you want, you have to be very intentional with the environment that's around you. Everything, the things that you see, the things that you eat, the things that your hydration station, when you go to bed, everything gets a thought put into it. So we don't just allow for whatever to come our way. We are instead creating exactly what it is that we want. And does everything change when you do that? And number 4, of course, is your thoughts. That's a big deal, right? But our thoughts, even if they're not coming out of our mouths, they are such huge influence. And tomorrow we're going to talk about what all is attached to them and unpack them, because understanding how your thoughts influence you and how they push you and how you rationalize and maybe throw away an attempt at curating the vibrant life that you want, when you understand that, then there's something that you can do to fix it. That's tomorrow's show. So I hope you show up for Transformational Tip Tuesday. I will be here and I will be live. Peace be with you. I really appreciate you, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.